They say, "Oh, I don't want to take care of that baby."
Every time I come in the press room, you in the press room. Working on our Stars Hot Tronic heat press. Using all the vinyl. Making all the picture tees. I like vinyl.
I'm about to just load these boxes up. I'm not sure about it.
Yo, what's good, man? This is the real neighborhood news, man. I got my man SMED with me, and we have a panel today. Which I got my man Beanut in the building. And we also have a legendary guest and a legendary update with Monique. You know what I'm saying? How are you doing?
I can't complain.
You look amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Okay, so SMED, you want to do general topics first before we get into her update?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so my bro, and I want to make sure I give credit to it. On Facebook, my friend Peanut Crowder, you know what I'm saying? His first name is Kara, which is kind of weird to me always because dude named Kara. He made a post about it sparked a lot of debate today, you know what I'm saying? And we are the real hood, the real neighborhood news, and we like to discuss all topics that interest our community and our people. Right. And he posted one that was controversial. And he posted a meme that says, "Great job to the mothers. They said they don't need a man. Hashtag good job." Shaking my motherfucking head. And it's literally a picture of a bunch of LGBT men together, right?
Gay
so
little boys.
Yeah.
Gay teenage boys.
Yes, and he basically was trying to say the onus is completely on the women, and this is why it's like that, saying you don't need a man. How do you feel about that thought pattern to start off with?
I feel like that's
Is it warranted or unwarranted to say that?
Mostly warranted. I don't feel like it's all on the women.
It's not all.
I don't feel like that. I feel like what he's saying has it has some merit, but I don't feel like the women is at fault. You feel me? Like they're not. Yeah, the women have to take responsibility for what the women has done, and the men have to take responsibility for what the men has done, and we also have to be able to identify who.
So are single mothers causing men to turn gay by parenting them as feminine type men with a lot of emotion, a lot of anger, a lot of
I think the society
resentment?
is a society that's really fueling that.
I think it's definitely possible. It some women aren't aware of their actions and their influence on their son. She might be a very feminine woman, and he just might love that about his mom. Like, I have a very feminine mom, and then next thing you know, her being a single parent and not having that masculine in the home,
And
he's
are
taking
people-
after her
Are people
favorisms.
born gay?
I believe that too.
Oh.
I do. I have a cousin.
How old could you be to actually be gay?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I have a cousin. He can sing his butt off. He was always feminine since we were like knee high to a grasshopper, and he struggled with his sexuality and his femininity because like my family wasn't going for it, but he just could not help.
Was he
who
feminine or was he gay? Though?
He
Now,
was
this is
feminine
Right.
off rip.
That's
And
the
I feel like
difference
some
between
people.
feminine and being gay.
I feel like
There is a
some
difference
people.
between feminine and being gay, and I think there is an agenda to make sure that these
Feminine men become gay.
feminine men to make them think that they're gay. Like you're a little kid, Dwayne Wade's son. How can this man be gay? You're not even supposed to be having sex yet. You ain't nothing but a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old or however you was, but yet they're already deeming him to be gay.
What about
So-
that law that they're passing to say that you can choose to be a transgender at the age of like your very young age? I'm not sure the exact age.
So-
but I know it's like a really young age.
So like the thing I want to add to the discussion is, I mean, I believe in nurture versus nature, right? So I also believe that things can be groomed on people. I mean, I could literally make certain factors, like if I was in God mode, or you know, a little lower than God mode. Let's say I'm at the level of I control everything that you have in your environment. So now I control what comes in and out of your city, what comes in and out of your world. I can shape who you are.
We don't call it government.
Yeah, I can shape who you are based off of what's going on. Like if I put a bunch of liquor stores in an area and I don't allow other businesses and things like that to be in there, so you're going to see a strip of people that's going to be down there drinking. I'm gonna draw that energy.
A community of alcoholics.
So if you also flash these different, you know, things in front of a young child's mind, which is like clay. I forgot who just said that just recently. It's like clay. You literally can mold them into that. And I feel like they do have an agenda set in place. But I also feel like, okay, if I've seen somebody just born the wrong way in other forms. I'm saying I've seen people born with any type of deformity, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful towards people that are born gay. I'm saying that there are anomalies that happen in just the basic construction of human beings that I cannot leave that off the table, that people can be born with the wrong
Chromosomes.
with a different mixture than what we all have collectively.
I'm glad you brought that up, because like
Black Shell said they see people doing it. They seen people doing it. Like, what do you mean they seen people doing it? So you saying that like
TV.
all gay kids, and to me, I don't think that a kid should be calling themselves gay, because you shouldn't be even engaging in sexual activities at a young age.
Exactly.
right.
To call yourself gay or not. But then again, the question becomes now, like, what is gay? Is
Right.
gay how you act, or is gay just actually engaging in a sex act
There's a
with
sexual
somebody
preference.
the same sex
Being
as
gay
you?
is a sexual preference.
Well, I think like that is where we gotta
I
be.
think so.
Like that's where we gotta be.
It should be a preference
But-
before you actually engage.
We have to be sensitive. I mean, we don't have to be sensitive, but like, but if you think about it, right, it is different spectrums for everything we're talking about, and this is what they use as, you know, I'm not saying this to say they're all like that. I'm just saying this is what is used when you're, let's say you say the wrong pronoun, then they have that as a tool to do this. So I wanted to also be, you know what I'm saying, like receptive of that. It's not your sexual preference exclusively, because you have people who don't mess with anybody, like they literally don't have sex at all, like they don't have sex with either,
Hey,
and
ladies, so there's something.
they have their own subsection is what I'm saying. I know it
He
seems
said subsection.
oh, that's a bar. I didn't think about that subsection, but she's good.
Right.
But yeah, and that's all I'm saying. Like there's extremes, there's different spectrums of that.
What I was gonna say is this right here.
It's not as basic.
If a person has, like, say, a mental, or if they think that they are something that they're not.
You know.
I mean, it's all about acceptance of self. A child.
They think that there's something that they're not. Break
So-
that down. What do you
Right.
mean?
So I'm just saying, like, far as like so I guess this go more to the subsection. So this go more into the people that are trans. Or
And I'm by far not an expert at all. I just give you
I'm
what
not expert, but they
what
see,
I've
they
learned.
do.
I'm
Call
just
the show.
saying. I'm just saying. So if people think,
Yeah.
like, say, like a man think he's a woman or something like that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So if you have a person thinking, like, say, if I was to say that I was a horse, and I want you
A
to
delusion.
or
like
you want
the
you to treat me
delusion.
like a horse, or if I say I got an extra arm,
Yeah.
like if I got 3 arms, it's that's a mental disease, and it's a name for that. They have a diagnosis.
Diagnosis.
They have a diagnosis for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's a disease.
Mhm.
And that's all I'm saying is, like, if you think, like, say,
It's a
Peanut,
delusion. Like,
right? If you
that's
think that
crazy.
you are something that you're not, then it's a diagnosis. And I forgot the exact name or medical term for that.
How do you get around a woman having one sexual organ and a man having another sexual organ? what do you say that you are if you are born with a male sexual organ?
So like again, I'm no expert, but
Or male.
what we do have.
Oh, so that's what it is, male and female. Because I heard
Well-
it was wrong to even use female.
Well,
It's
well.
transvestite, ain't it?
No,
What's it
that's
called?
definitely a terrible.
What is it
Yeah,
called?
don't. Yeah.
What is,
What is it called?
what is the
Transgender.
species called
No,
that has
you're
a
being born
vagina?
regular.
Okay.
I'm saying when you're born with a vagina, what are you called?
I'm born with a penis. What is that called?
If you
I'm
born,
a woman with like a womb with that
A
came
woman.
from I'm a womb man.
but
Like I
don't
came
some
from a man.
people, they have a new type
Right,
of
'cause they're
vibe
trying to
going
define
where
a woman.
You're not allowed to call yourself a woman anymore.
Right, they're trying to say that
What?
women are like he could be a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're trying to say that a man can be a woman.
That's what they saying. Like the men can
You can be whatever you
participate
want. They
in
say you can be
women's
whatever you want.
sports.
That's-
Wow.
That's what I'm saying as far as with that, and that's messing up. That's messing up.
Yeah.
Genderless.
Huh?
Genderless.
Straight up, it's messing up. Now it's creating
Genderless.
chaos.
Gender, but what are you called when you're born with a dick? And what are you called
You're a
when
man.
you're
I
born?
mean, for some people, you're
That's
a man.
all I
I guess
know, you're a man.
But some people, I guess for those people, I'm gonna say for those people.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's a-
called
Crazy.
something
The
different.
thing you talking about is called gender dysmorphia.
No,
No,
bro. He's
I'm not talking about
regular.
nothing out of the
If you are
ordinary.
normal,
When
like
when a baby boy is
what you call it,
born, according
before
to
the
gender, the people who don't want
Oh.
to claim genders,
Wait,
what
hold
are
on.
you?
before the Mandela effect.
Before
the
Saturn.
Mandela effect, if you was born with a penis, what would you be called?
A boy.
Right.
That's
now,
what he asked.
now, after the Mandela effect, what are you called?
I still call myself a
What they
boy.
put,
You
what they
do
put in those
today.
applications,
What they call
male,
it today.
female, or do not want to answer. Just put do not want to answer or something. I
Wow.
But this is the. But I don't know
What is
if
the
I'm
name
We
for
need
it,
a
though?
transgender person on here
right.
to
Yeah,
explain this to
Hold on,
the world.
let me try to explain it one more time. There is a movement going around right now that people don't like to be called pronouns.
Right.
You're not a he, she, this or that.
You a-
But under this new wave, do they still recognize male and female?
Okay,
There it
so
is. Somebody
so
call him.
I got the four different genders right
Well, you gotta
now.
put the right number up there. That's the wrong number.
But we ain't
Yeah.
doing Google. This is the right number.
Inside joke,
Real
guys.
neighborhood news. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Wani again from Dayton.
Hey, Wani.
What's up?
Hey, again, we love you.
They're called non-binary.
Non-binary.
But how do you differentiate, or the word I'm trying to say,
Differentiate.
between somebody that's born with a woman sexual organ, which is a vagina, and a dick?
Penis.
Okay, let's kind of start back with genetics.
Right.
So you have people who are born with both.
right.
No, man, but listen,
Hermaphrodite.
I don't want to do that. Because that's not normal. I'm just talking about the real, everyday person. How do you
Okay,
describe
you
somebody
still
that's
have
born with a male sexual organ?
Genetic makeup make them feel like they're a woman or
And
a
that's
man.
true.
Hold on.
That's very
Genetic
true,
makeup
though.
make them feel like that?
Yes,
Because the genetic makeup is
Still
all
have
one
the
one
genetic
gender.
It
makeup
doesn't have to
of
be
them
that way.
feeling like
A
they're
boy
a
can turn
woman
around
or
and
a
have
man.
more X chromosomes than Y
But
chromosomes.
the
X is
point,
for the
what we
female.
trying to
So
ask
where
is
I've
like
seen
this.
men with
I don't
shapes
understand
without
where
having
we
to
can't
BBLs
get to
and
the
their
real
body
deal.
color.
I'm asking people who do not want to be labeled as a boy or a girl, yet they was born with a penis. What do they call
You can
themselves?
see their
They're
traits.
gender fluid.
You won't see
Gender fluid. What does that mean?
You won't see
You-
It
Move.
means
It's
someone
about
who
the- I feel like that chromosome
does not
pattern.
identify as
That
their
chromosome
own
pattern
sex.
is
So how do
it's
they
very
explain that
important
they
to
would be the one
born
that would produce
naturally
sperm
that
when you
way. Men are
procreate?
born with breasts. Men have
Now, I don't
nipples.
even know.
Men have
To me, I
belly
just feel like
buttons.
that's a little
Before
bit more on the
your
scientific
testicles
side because
No, it's not. No, it's not.
They were inside
Hold
of
on,
you.
Monique.
One mic, y'all.
We having
First
side
gender is a
conversations,
woman.
y'all.
One mic, y'all. One mic.
I'm saying, why can you say that you're not a man? You're born with a male sex organ. That's why we're defining that this person is a man. But yet you want to act like that's not real?
And
I
not-
don't get it. I'm
not
trying to
just
figure
sex
out what
organs,
we're
you're
doing.
born
It's
with
not real.
male
That's the reason why I
parts
said
altogether.
genetics. Because when a person, let's see, I can't remember if everyone is a female,
Yes,
and
that
then
is correct.
born
That's true. That's why men have nipples.
somewhere
Yes.
within the transformation of the baby.
The descendant of the transformation.
We have no.
You gotta stop this craziness, man.
Because if you look at
Everybody
common
is
sense,
not
bro,
a
it's
female,
what
bro.
a male.
I mean, you are born a female,
you
but
are
when
not.
you're not born a female. When you're in the womb, you're a female.
No,
before
you're
you-
not.
Yes.
No, you're not. No, you're not. The
Okay,
penis has not.
just saying, I'm
the
the
penis
one
has
with
not
my-
materialized yet. But you're not
The
a
penis
female.
is the canal that has
Until you're
descended. Our
born, you
ovaries
don't
are
have
your
any
testicles
sexual
that have
genital area
descended. But
until
before
I
that
got two
descension,
grandsons. We
inside
both
you
knew
is the
the
same order
we
that
knew the gender of the
vaginal-
kids. Both of my kids had gender release. They know it, gender reveal parties. They know exactly what sex the baby's gonna be while the
Right.
baby is still in the
But
womb.
before that process, before they even get to that
Yeah, but
process,
before
They're not a woman.
they
So
don't have
women-
any.
it's not a
Women-
woman.
so
It
a male
is
has
only
ovary
one
chromosome,
So
chromosome.
does the male
One
child
chromosome.
does the male
A male
child
has
have
X, Y
ovaries?
chromosomes, right?
That's the
A male,
testicle.
a male is supposed to have
X and
It's,
Y.
Y.
it's not ovaries.
X and Y.
All right.
X and Y.
Right, and the
okay.
female have X and X.
X and
I don't
X,
know.
Right,
right.
so
So
So if
That's
it's more
what I'm
X's,
trying to
one
say.
mic, y'all. One mic, man.
Hold on, hold on. Let's get our caller. Caller, go ahead and finish your point, and then we'll move on.
Well, I just think that a lot of people need to be educated on how babies are really formed. And
Yeah, we
Right.
do. We know. We're the ones that say don't kill babies in the stomachs just because you don't got enough money to pay for them. We value babies, and that's why I'm trying to tell everybody, like, I know that you can get like real detailed about saying like a penis hasn't formed yet, therefore by default it's a woman. But that baby that hasn't been
Not
fully
necessarily
formed, that's
it's a
like saying
woman.
a baby's legs haven't formed yet, so right now they are whatever the term is for somebody
We
who
gonna
doesn't
call it
have
an A B.
brains or they're disabled.
We're gonna call it an AB.
Right. Like,
Bye.
come on, man. The baby's penis has to have time to form.
But let's go back
But
to
thank
what
you for
Peanut
your
said.
call, and I really, really appreciate
Thank you,
calling.
Carl.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
So
you.
let's go back to what Peanut said about math, right? Simple math, like she was saying with the X and the Y chromosome. We got men has an X and a Y chromosome. Women has X and X. Simple math tells you that you can't
Y and
get.
Y.
If you got X and a Y, you can get an X and an X from an X and a Y, but you can't get an X and a Y from an X and an X.
Okay.
So that
Real-
means
real
that
neighborhood
females had to
knowledge.
come from males. So your breasts,
I
your
disagree.
nipples, and all of that had to come from. We had this already
I disagree.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
because that's
I-
math,
Hold on,
right?
hold on. You know, let's get
No.
the caller. Let's get the caller real quick.
That's
I
simple
agree with
math.
you.
No.
Okay, caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
you got some colors from there.
Hey, how you
Okay.
doing?
It's crazy you talking about this. Like 2 weeks ago, I watched the podcast, and they had a lady on there. She was born with both sex parts.
Yes. Hermaphrodite.
I know.
And her
We're
dad
talking about normal.
basically-
Let her.
No, thank you. But hold on. Let him go ahead and say this ridiculous stuff. Go ahead.
But I guess, her mom and dad decided what sex they wanted her to be, and
They cut off the other part.
Cut off, probably cut
should
off
they got her, I think they removed the penis, and then she got older, and when she figured out that but what happened was she started developing boobs. So,
But they already cut off
So
the
you-
penis.
yeah, they could have, no, she kept the penis. That's what happened.
and
She
sold
had
up
a
the
penis,
vagina.
and they basically, they sewed up the vagina part.
Yeah, they do that a
She
lot.
still had her penis. Well, she started developing boobs, and she started getting curious about why she was developing those body parts. And so now that she's developed as a woman, she's about to go through surgery at the age of 56 to basically, I guess, get her vagina sewed. And
Well, let's okay, but this, I understand what you're saying, okay? But we're talking about under normal circumstances. Like the thing that you're talking about is an exception to what normally happens. Of course, this is a situation we might all be like, okay, we understand that. Yes, this is a for real thing where you can't say what sex somebody is. But 100 times out of 100, damn near, 99 times out of 100, we gonna have one or the other. A child that is born with a penis. What do you call this child?
A male
A
child.
male.
I have the technical.
male instead of a
I have the
male.
technical.
What's the technical
Yeah.
answer, P?
So
Hold on, Tosh, we about to tell you what it's really.
so there's this gene that kicks in.
What's it called?
They call the SRY gene. That kicks in to activate.
It's like SRY. And what's the other one, bro? What's the woman?
XRX probably.
SRY. That's the new name for a boy. SRY.
That is where the gene kicks in to make you a boy.
Right.
But up to that point, I mean, because before that,
XX until
because before that, you form nipples and things of that nature that women only use. Like, we don't use our nipples. So before that happens, before the SRG kicks in, the nipples are already formed. I'm not saying a clitoris. I'm not saying a penis. I'm just saying we have no need for nipples as men.
But that's not what I'm saying. Is simple math is you can't get something from nothing. So if there's no
And the
Y
male
gene
nipple and the
there,
women
then you
nipple.
can't get a Y gene from
Right,
nothing.
that's right.
Nothing can go inside of us and grow and become a baby.
Nothing can go inside of
A
us and
cell
grow.
is a cell.
Okay, then, so
A
that-
organism is a microorganism that can develop into whatever.
And so what makes the women's nipple be able to pump the milk out?
We have ducts all over our breasts that are developed inside of the womb. Our
And what
ovaries,
forms the milk inside of her?
that hormone, that HCG, it's kind of
Do
like
men
an
have that?
No.
So why?
Thank you.
If
So,
they was-
so
if
now
they
that
was
we're
already
talking
had it,
about
then
so,
what
but they're acting
happened?
like where
But
they
they
get rid of
went
weight?
away
Oh,
from
like you saying it's an
But
upgrade.
are you
Where's
talking
the
about for
milk
a regular
producing-
One
woman
mic,
or-
guys. One mic. We only got one mic.
They're trying to make it to where men can reproduce babies.
That part
So
too.
I think
This
it's
is
probably
crazy.
It's sci-fi.
It is
now.
probably-
Come on, y'all. Wait. What? Listen. We can't have side. We can't have sidebar conversations while we got a caller, please, guys.
Okay, and then call back if you got something else.
I understand. Yeah, we all get our points, but just one person can talk
Okay,
at a
go ahead,
time.
Monique, what you
Yeah,
got
go
for
ahead.
us?
My perspective on that, I
You mean
had a
that's a shot.
teacher that was born with both
Me?
parts, and he was supposed to be a woman, and they sewed his vagina up, but when puberty started hitting, his vagina was like,
All right.
I'm here.
Come on, what's the next one? Because this is terrible.
All right.
But I'm just saying it's possible.
So the discussion that arose from that conversation, shout out to my bro Peanut Crowder again, was would you rather your son be born homosexual or to be a thug? And that was the actual debate.
Exactly.
I mean, but if you had to, which one would you be less?
Concerned with.
Beanut said he would abort him.
By the time he's a thug, it's too late.
Oh yeah, here go Jamie Jane. Rhoda, what's up?
What's happening, man?
Man, so come on, bro. What's your opinion about all of this, bro?
Why are we even debating this dumbness? First and foremost, the whole problem is with the LGBTQ community. You have made a decision, and that's fine. So you go on and live with your decision, but you can't change me. You can't make me change. That's the problem.
Go ahead. And what is it that when you're born as a male, we still trying to figure out if you're a part of the LGBTQ community. They're like, you better get them letters right too, nigga.
There's more.
Is it? But if
Yeah.
you're trying to, I'm asking, what is the new name
It's A+.
for a male now?
The lady that called, I don't know about that, but it's that gender fluid thing. That's what's the Will Smith's son? He was one of the first ones to bring that into the light. He was going to be gender fluid. He wanted to cut his penis off when he turned 18 or something like that because he didn't necessarily feel like a man or necessarily feel like a woman. All right, well, there's people out here that they literally say they feel like a cat. You gonna let them have that?
What about the people that say they feel like they white people, or the people that say they feel like they black
That's a
people?
mess.
Well, I mean, even a cat is more dramatic.
It's all dramatic.
It is.
That's all it is.
So what
You
about
want-
And
What's
it's
the name of that disease,
trying to
bro?
make
It's a
people
diagnosis.
pretend like it's like a make believe type thing.
Exactly.
Like, make believe I'm a girl and don't ever fucking
Oh.
and say that I'm a girl. No
The
matter
term is
what.
called cisgender.
Problem with that because I literally
The term is called cisgender, CIS gender, and it means it says period. So like a doctor won't say it's a boy, it's a girl, it's cisgender. That means
But how do you explain the? Go ahead. Hold on, Jamie.
like a boy. She has a vagina though, and she's now done the breast. You know, she's gotten rid of her breast, and she got the hormones, got a full beard, got more hair on her face than me and you. But she don't get pissed if I say her. I grew up with you as a girl. She don't get pissed. You know what I mean? She like literally understands how she was born. But this is not how I feel. That's the point I'm trying to make. Don't try to make me change. I don't accept it. Don't get me wrong, I don't judge you, but you ain't gonna change me.
Right, and how can you get offended for somebody who just looks at you in a natural element? Like, what I think that when we're calling a woman a female, it's not to disrespect her because she feels like a man. We're only acknowledging how she brings forth life into this world.
Right.
The man is going to provide the sperm, the woman provides the egg.
Right.
And
Just
that's
for
all
order's
that we
sake.
trying
Like,
to say.
that's
Like,
for order's sake.
we not really.
chaos out here.
I mean, you could call yourself whatever you want. I don't disrespect that in no type of way.
Science.
But
The science.
but the science
It is
behind
the
it all
Right.
is
It's
just saying like,
order.
look, man,
Science.
you
That's
a
just like
man,
colors.
dude. You can't go and
Or
run
anything,
track
numbers.
against
Right.
women and think that it's a fair competition. That's like
Right.
It comes down to order. That's just like
Like,
having
that-
colors of
and-
numbers.
One mic, y'all.
If this is black and I say it's not black, it's red.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That's just like that. Like, okay, you gotta have you gotta be able to identify the difference, or you know what I'm saying, or the difference in degrees.
Well, it's a
between-
slippery slope because
Two
at
things.
one point you say nothing is nothing. Like you say you riding with a gun in this car. To the police say that to
Right.
somebody and they say,
That's what
I don't
I'm
got no
saying.
gun in this
Like
car.
order.
This is an airplane.
Right.
This is a walkie-talkie.
So now it's
this is a
chaos.
cell phone.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
without
That's what I'm talking about.
definitions to certain subjects, it's going to be hard to call
gonna be chaos.
anything.
Well, they have one term that covers 99% of the population, and that is called cisgender. Cisgender is a word that applies to the vast majority of people, described as a person who is not transgender. If a doctor announces it's a girl in the delivery room based off the child's body, and that baby grows up to identify as a woman, that person is cisgender.
So now-
Similarity, a baby designated male in the delivery room who grows up identifies as a man is
The
cisgender.
answer is male.
So this is the case for 99% of the population, where you literally can have one term for both
What if I don't
people.
identify as that?
Then you don't know the definition for the term that I'm
That's what
calling
I'm
you.
saying.
Like
Exactly.
it's the
That's
same
what I'm
thing.
saying.
Make up any name. Like
I mean, it's the
for
same
example-
thing.
So you
for
don't know the
example,
definition of a man or a woman then. If
So,
you-
like, for instance-
How new is this term cisgender?
So wait, I'm gonna give you an example.
Tonight I'm going to sleep, and I'm going to say I'm Elon Musk. When I wake up in the morning, who am I going to be?
You're
Not
Musk.
Elon Musk.
Elon
I
Musk.
said, hell nah.
Right. Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. So if I don't identify as being a cisgender,
Right.
then what am I?
Well, that makes
That's
me
not what I identify as.
How
That makes
is
me
this
think
term
of-
cisgender, bro.
that makes me think of when I watched that movie, which I've already referenced it multiple times. It's The Black Knight. And, you know, he came from this era where, you feel me, it's nigga this, nigga that, yo, black this and third. He went there and they called him a Moor.
Right.
Oh,
And
wow.
Shantae, listen.
It don't make it not true. Just you're not familiar with the term. So cisgender applies to 99% of the
I
world.
understand that, bro, but for me and Beanut, we feel some type of way about the term cisgender. We don't
Right.
understand what that.
Because-
Like, we're not the same as a woman, bro.
Because
we're
we
not
keep-
trying to be the same as a woman.
We're not.
We're not trying to be categorized. We recognize the difference that nature,
So
Right.
tooled, driven by any higher power you choose,
so
has
What-
implemented.
what-
so wait. So wait. Are you a human?
Yes.
Human and cisgender is probably synonymous,
Peanut.
and that is their point.
Peanut.
Go
what
ahead.
I'm saying is the logic that you using me to get.
I'm telling you, this is a
Hold on,
technical
wait,
term. I don't
wait,
agree.
wait,
Transgender claims to be a
listen,
human
what
as
you're
well,
telling
bro.
me
You know?
to get to accept that term is the same thing that I can tell you to accept man and women. The term man and woman. I can tell you that same logic that you're telling me to accept this cisgender term.
Right.
You can use that same logic to accept the real, which is a man and a woman.
Right.
My grandmother told me it's not what they call you. My grandmother told me it's not what they call you, what you answer to. So yes, I can say a bunch of terms in here until I offend you, or I can call you the right name on the first try. So to me, I understand.
Nah, that don't apply. That don't apply. He said it's not what they call you, it's what you'll answer to.
Right.
He talking about whether you gonna be a nigga or not. That don't apply. This is something that's factual.
Right.
You can't debate that you a man or a woman, that you got a penis or you don't. There are a few people out of the billions on this earth that can actually lay a claim to that. Nah, I have both. There's only a few.
Right.
What I'm
but
saying.
yet we telling these one-off stories, acting like they got a shred of normalcy to them, and it's just not
And you
real.
using logic.
It's
You
not
using
normal.
real
It's
logic
not
to
real.
accept this, like you
Y'all
just
trying to
said,
make
like
stuff
what
up, and it's-
a
and you
cisgender
can't
is. That's
make
what I'm
it
saying.
So
we do, but we
I want to culminate this whole story in and just the irony of these all are terms made up. Male and female is a term made up. Like
No, it's not.
no.
it describes something.
The word. Wait. The word. Exactly. So listen. If that word was made up, okay, it was made up before this word. But there have been multiple words made up. I mean, bling bling got added to the dictionary. So we're acting like.
But listen.
So what I'm saying is the term cisgender describes humans. That's all I'm saying.
And agreed. Okay, we got you. We got you there. But we're going
We don't
deeper into
care
that.
about
Right,
the
what's the
words.
difference?
We're talking about what
They're like, I'm the nigga.
describe the difference, bro.
What is
Just
Right.
like colors. You
The
can't just say
differentiality
like,
Like,
this is a
of-
color.
okay, we
Right,
all humans,
genders
but then
and
when we start going into our different divisions as human beings, like we do, we
Right.
all have different groups inside this human family.
Absolutely.
So we're
Just like
talking
colors.
about what is the difference between somebody born with a penis and somebody who is born with a vagina.
Difference in
That's
humans.
what we trying
What
to
is the
say.
difference in humans?
So when we go beyond
Their sexual
cisgender, where do we go
origin.
to
What's
now?
the difference in
Dictionary wanted to
cisgender?
change.
If that's what you want to call them, cisgender. What's the difference in cisgender?
Right.
Cisgender is not transgender, and it says it in a. It says it in the. It says it in the.
Watching, but I want another caller to be able to call in.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir, man. Appreciate you.
In the definition, it says cisgender is someone that is not transgender, right?
Right.
So that means you could be a male, identify as a male, and be cisgender. You could be a woman, identify as a woman, and still be cisgender. The moment you consider yourself transgender is when you step out of that box and you can go in your own spectrum.
It's about giving yourself time to figure out who you are.
Again, I am not the LGBT insider. I'm only giving y'all
And that's the
terms.
only thing that I can think of to make it make sense.
So
Like,
Right.
you're
you're not.
replacing either you're transgender or you're not.
Right. It
So
is.
you're not male or female anymore. Either you're transgender or not.
Right.
That's basically what you're saying.
Right, and so transgender has just taken over a
It's a
whole
choice.
Checkmate. Checkmate. Yeah.
Come on,
So
man.
come on, man.
And man,
You're
like
right.
I don't understand. I don't understand it, and then so therefore I may be ignorant to it all. But what I'm saying is, I feel like, man, all of this stuff is based on people's choice too.
It is.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got a choice to do all of these different things that you want to do, but then to try to like I'm just telling you, like, even a lack of understanding. Like, let's say I was more famous than what I am, okay? People might hear the things that I'm saying and really like cancel the fuck out of me.
I'm gonna ask you one question, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, and that's all because we have a different philosophy and opinion.
Right, right.
Without even being like trashing nobody.
Not the
though.
norm,
Right.
the agenda.
But okay, so like the way I'm thinking of it is like this, right? We have an attraction for the opposite sex, right?
Right.
Strong attraction for the opposite sex. We love the opposite sex. We are literally infatuated with it. Love the pheromones. Love it like that. What if the world told you that is gay?
Then
Then I'ma
then
just
I'm-
be-
No, wait. No. So wait. What if the world told you that attraction, the way you feel about that person, the same way you feel about a woman, that's gay, and then now the world is viewing you as a subsection, and that's because you have an attraction, just a natural attraction for that subsection
That's
of people.
what's going on now.
So what I'm trying to tell you is, imagine that person
That
that
is.
yeah. So imagine a person that is attracted to men that they really feel like that. They really feel the same way you would if people were telling you, no, y'all can't get married. and stuff like that. You like, man, I really do love this person. I really want to do the same thing. Like that is what it sounds like to me.
No. Because at the same time, the same sex can't do the same thing that opposite sex can do.
Agreed.
As far as in that area.
Agreed.
When you talk about coming together and being mates, the same sex can't reproduce.
So wait. So a woman who can't bear children, is she no longer a woman?
No, she's
she's still a woman.
Right.
I'm only presenting the argument. I'm only presenting the argument.
So
right. But we have the right to refute the argument that you're presenting.
Yeah.
What we're trying to tell you is you're bringing up like
anomalies. Yeah,
You're bringing up exceptions, and you're acting like that's a reason for us to change our stance when it's not like that.
I don't want to change our stance. Like,
right, because nobody said that just because you can reproduce, you're a woman. I'm saying
you name that as a characteristic of a woman. I understand that. I understand that.
About like saying this is something that's naturally that you feel, and this is something that's natural for you, and why is it wrong for the same sex to be mates in that way? This is why it's wrong, because mates in that way were meant to reproduce, and when you get together with the opposite sex, you're meant to reproduce. Now, just far as just being in love with these person's presence, then that's something different. You know what I'm saying? We can be in love with each other's presence without bringing sex into it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not having sexual energy for that person.
That's what a lot of this is about.
Right.
Sex.
That's all it's about.
This is about sex.
I
And
disagree.
that's where I be getting detached from it all. Like, it's like all of this rah-rah. Even people who hate gay people. Like, bruh, you, like, this, and gay people who claim to just be, like, discriminated against, which they might. I ain't saying they don't. But what I'm trying to say is, like, all of this shit is boiling down to sex.
Yes.
And who you are choosing. Not choosing to have feelings for. That might be out of your control. You might be born like it's somebody else. But you are choosing to engage in that sexual act.
But also,
and that's a fact.
But also, there are people who choose not to have sex with either. Like,
so you're not gay.
They still identify with the LGBT community because
they choose to identify with.
I agree. I agree.
That's
I agree. Bro, we are all in agreement. Why y'all like y'all niggas made me the LGBT insider? So it's like I'm only presenting the argument that anybody sitting at home would be thinking.
No, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but this is just a conversation that's interesting and it's a good topic, and I think that more people, like, man, gay people got shit on lock. Now don't get it twisted. Like, we know better than to say some different shit, because you will go down.
Right.
And it ain't even that I want to, but I've seen it happen so much that if somebody just feels like, let's say somebody like, man, having sex with another man, bro, that shit disgusting. That shit is no. Hell no. That's terrible. When somebody says something like that, which is a valid opinion, they can feel like that, they will be deemed as a bad person. Just like a gay person probably pretty easily say, I just don't find women attractive, and that's nasty, that's gay.
I hate all men. Like, I heard a woman say she hate all men. She hate men.
So
if a man say he hate gay people, then that would be sexual. I
think that I don't know. I don't know. Like my boy Jazz told me that they're building a community for gay people, like right over here in behind Central Avenue on Salem.
There must be a need for it.
Build a community for black people.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
why is that a problem?
Why does it have to be in the
We should build for ourselves a community of black people.
We can.
We should build a community of ourselves of black people and stop waiting on other people to do anything for us.
I just don't think like treating somebody so helpless is helpful, man.
And big cities.
For black people, like, I don't want black people to continue to live in low income housing, taking handouts, acting like we can't do shit for ourselves, always looking for the government to come in and save us. And I feel the same way for gay people. Like, bro, I feel like that shit is overdoing it. Like, it's doing to, like, gay people are perfectly capable of getting up and living wherever they want to live.
I don't think black people.
No, that's not true entirely.
Yeah, that's just like
that's not true entirely.
Came into the white communities, they were ran out of those white communities. Have you seen that show Them? Where this man, he has a bachelor's degree, he has this nice job in his factory, takes his wife and kids to the suburbs. Worst thing that ever happened to them. You know, bullying and the harassment of it all is real, to where if they feel like they need to protect themselves and they're building, like Pina said, they are building their own community. They're speaking out to make that happen. Black people have to do the same thing.
Absolutely.
Well, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, because that's what black people seem to do is when they get money, run to the white community, but when black people have built their own, this is what people are not saying. When they have built their own, white people came and destroyed that. And then they made sure that it was hard for them to do that again. So don't say that black people are not trying or haven't tried or it's like black people ain't doing shit. Like, yeah, we have built our own.
Look at Atlanta.
Burnt it down.
Look at Atlanta now.
It's hard for you to rebuild.
Look at Atlanta right now. Look at Washington, D.C.
So that's where we're at.
I mean, we have built back better. I mean, we got Atlanta. We got, you know what I'm saying, like Washington, D.C.
We don't control it.
There was a whole black market strip in Massachusetts, and it was nothing but black businesses. The white men came in there and tore every last building down, killed the business owners, stole their money, and then rebuilt on top of it. What was that? Black Wall Street?
Black Wall? Oh, that's Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma. I'm sorry. Yeah, Black Wall Street. They do that to this day, just in a more manipulative way.
So that is an outstanding segue. Let's talk about policing versus under-policing. Over-policing versus under-policing, such as the story we highlighted earlier today, which is a young lady called the police three different times, and they came out for a domestic dispute. There was she showed them evidence that she had of, you know, the person threatening with bodily harm with a gun. She eventually is killed, and the child is also killed, and then he leaves them to the south and kills himself. How do you guys feel about that? Over policing versus under policing.
I think that they should have, even if they didn't detain him, they should have given him direct orders. You cannot come back to this place. If you come back to this place, I don't feel like they took any type of measure to alleviate the situation.
His dad owns the place.
Or say, ma'am, why don't you leave? We want you to pack it. Or they did? Okay, I didn't follow the story. I didn't really follow the story to know, but if
her options of leaving was just like
slim.
Go to a homeless shelter.
Okay, then go to the shelter. Right. Until things, you know what I'm saying, calm down.
I know what you're saying, and in the hindsight, it seemed like she should have did that, and
she would still have her life. You have to be humble in situations like that. What do you want to deal with the mental torment from this man, or do you want to go, you know, have your peace in this little room with your kids until you can figure out your next plan? You know what I mean?
So I want to ask, like, have you ever been in a situation where you had someone that you felt was threatening you, or feeling like you and your kids at that time were in danger, and how did you handle that?
I definitely handled it. I've been through that situation.
What was the situation exactly? If you don't mind sharing.
It was with my 12-year-old's father. He was a drunk, and once you get tired of the aftermath of drinking, people become irate. You know, I started planning to move to Texas, you know, and I even went to a YMCA or YWCA downtown.
How was that? So, did you take a child with you when you went?
Took all the kids.
Okay, so like, what was that experience like for you? Because like we're thinking, you know what I mean, it's really messed up situation. What was the actual climate of the place, the facility? Was it clean? What was it like?
When we went, it was more so like a safe haven. So I went in there, like I said, humble. I went in there like, I need my peace. I need to get away from him. my kids were so little, I would be embarrassed. We would be on the bus or something like that. I'd be like, okay, we're going downtown, kids. Don't be acting up on the bus. Mom, are we about to go to the shelter? Like, they were happy because we didn't have to deal with his irateness with the drinking. We didn't have to deal with that foolishness. They knew mommy was making a plan for them to be able to still be happy.
Were there other kids down there?
There were plenty of kids there.
Okay.
There were plenty of kids there. It was very short-lived. I still kept my place.
I still want to ask like the specifics. So did you have your own room? Were you in a room full of people? What was the actual like sleeping arrangements for you and your children?
Our own room.
Okay.
It wasn't that big. It wasn't that small. I want to say it was bunk beds in there. They had shower areas.
Okay.
And I could still go home. But when I was at home, he wasn't there. He might be out with his boys drinking and stuff, and I'd take my little self right on back down to that shelter until I got that plan to move up out of there.
That is just so terrible.
And then I had to leave my own home. You
But
know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But I'm talking about this young lady and her daughter getting killed like that.
yes,
Yeah, that's too much. Like,
It's like,
it's way more common than we think.
Right, man.
Man,
I really
that
feel
is
like that. This is
terrible, man.
really a serious. This is really
And it's
a
happening
serious
more and more.
situation. And there's a lot of women out there that are in that situation, just same as her. That's still like, okay, he not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? They still thinking like, okay, he ain't gonna kill me.
and we
You know
gotta
what
take
I'm saying?
ourselves out of that mindset because we don't
Exactly.
know who we lay next to. You don't know if this person is a robber or killer. They could already be giving you signs saying, well, I went through this and that as a child, and then we're showing sympathy and empathy when we really need to be paying attention to the signs. Like, you know,
What are some of the red flags? What are some of the red flags from your expertise?
call the show to you guys,
Yeah.
937
What are some of the red flags, guys?
0025.
I personally think this escalated.
Call it right.
She
now.
didn't
You know what I'm saying?
think
They
that
go
she
for
was
it.
gonna die that night, bro.
She
Right.
didn't. She didn't think that.
I mean, she had to have thought something if she made that many
Bruh,
calls.
she
She should have done something for herself instead of calling on the law. When have they been here to help us? When do they support our black mothers? They sit there and speculate. They watch the situation, and then everything falls back on the black
I
mother.
just wish she would have.
Which this situation just
She
fell
had to
back on
realize
her
that it
and her
was time to
kids.
leave. That's what it was.
We gotta call her, guys.
Like when you realized it was time for you to leave, it had to come to that point for her. Like it's time to go.
Call her.
Neighborhood News. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Sasha getting tired.
What's
Who is?
So, I listened to their whole 37-minute video, and the video you shared earlier, somebody was narrating it. First of all, they was narrating it wrong. So basically, they was trying hard to get her to leave, but she was so adamant about staying. Because she had paid rent, because he had drained her account. And so that female officer was like, sweetheart, I saw this happen too many times. You know, you can go to the shelter. And so they were trying to take her to the shelter. Now, the reason they didn't arrest him for that video is because his face was not in the recording. So they couldn't do anything. They hear a voice, but they can't just say, oh, that's him. So that's the reason when they was talking and they was trying to figure out, like, what can we take him to jail for? And there was nothing they could take him to jail for. The gun, he was allowed to have a gun, she was allowed to have a gun. But also, I've been seeing her family make a lot of posts saying they don't understand why she just didn't call them. They would have made sure she got home. Like, they've been making TikToks and everything.
Even if she just went to the shelter and just disappeared and she didn't want to have her family in the situation and involved, she could have left for a few days for things to de-escalate.
Like she was upset about that money and stuff, but I think she thought it was going to go the other way because she told them, she called them to let them know that if she has to defend herself, she's going to defend herself.
But
she told them that was the reason for her calling.
Why not leave? You have kids.
But yeah, I just wish she would have left.
Exactly. If I feel like I got
I
to
wish she would have left too, though. Because I mean, even if you had to go to the shelter for that night and just make arrangements to get back to New Jersey the next day, it would have saved you and your child's life. And I can't really say he had mental health because he didn't kill his own child. He killed her child, but not his own child.
It's like, man, you never know who you're dealing with. Somebody who would be so cruel to kill your child.
Brazen, yeah.
Killing you is one thing, but to kill, how old was the young lady,
God.
the baby girl that died? Do you know?
Was like 7 years old. She basically had never.
Her daughter
This was the
said
first time he had pulled out that gun in front of her daughter. He did that in front of her daughter. So this was the first time he did that. So she was taking it serious, but I think she thought she was going to get that gun back from him and defend herself. Because she said, I'll do whatever I got to do to protect my child. But
the best thing
it wasn't in her plans to leave. And then she wanted the police to meet her at the dollar store. But they had called her phone back 3 times and she didn't answer. Even the officer showed her where they had called her phone and she wasn't answering.
Damn.
It's just tragic.
So
you really can't blame the police too much.
They tried.
no, we can't blame the police. That girl narrated that so wrong.
I think
She
really,
narrated
though,
that
there's
wrong,
no,
the video
like,
y'all had
blame
earlier.
is on the
They
person.
did.
She narrated.
One mic, y'all. Wait.
Police tried
We're calling it off and then
everything.
we're
That
saying we
lady
get off
was
after.
trying to basically plead with her to leave and go to the shelter for the night because they couldn't do anything because she told her, if you would have had his face on the video, I would be able to take him.
Well,
That's,
I just, man, certain shit is just amazing. Like, you never know who you with, man. And if somebody show you signs that they ain't right, man, you gotta take them on their word, man. Because I remember another story here in Dayton where the guy killed his little girlfriend and she had constantly been crying for help and making Facebook posts. And
yeah, she went over there to his house, so that was a bad situation.
damn. Well, all right, man. Thank you, Tasha, for that insight. We about to bring another topic through, and when we talk to Monique, well, I'm sure a lot of people want to ask her questions about her situation, because it's a real movie, and we are definitely about to get to that. Let's see, a woman is the only person. All right, Tasha, love you. Peace. A woman is the only person to give birth. That is not a small thing. That all major as fuck and identifying as a woman.
Real talk.
You guys, if y'all ever seen a situation where you knew somebody should have left a situation, they ended up dying, call the show. Because one thing that I do want to do is let women know, like, man, some of these guys out here, bro, they will kill you. And they like, man, that's some terrible shit to do, man.
And
you
I
don't
just
do
think
no
too,
shit like
you
that.
get that
and
feeling.
then you go and you kill her daughter, and then you drive down the road and kill yourself. It's terrible.
It's a tragedy all the way
terrible.
around.
When they start showing you signs that they might do something like that,
Exactly.
you have
You
to
get
take
that
those
feeling.
clues and get the fuck away.
Agreed.
Get the fuck away. When you get the feeling.
But what about the man? There's another story though. How can a woman get away when these men will go and hunt them down and kill them wherever they find them?
Yeah.
Like, you try to get away. Man, there was a nigga that went door to door to fucking door, bro, and found his girlfriend, asking questions, showing pictures. Have you seen her?
Man, that's when you call
Found a
police.
woman,
That-
bro,
the
and
police
killed
won't
her.
help
From
you with-
him?
Let's see if I got it here.
The police won't help you with
Did
that.
I send you that story, Beanut?
I know we got it right here. Let's see.
You either call the police or call
I
the
sent it
judge
to North.
help.
I sent it to North. I probably sent it to you. A man went door to door looking for a woman that was trying to get away from him.
It was part of that custody. It was a custody like dispute.
I ain't even sure.
Yeah. So like the story that I'm familiar with is the one where the guy was from a different state and he came here and he killed somebody. He literally.
This is recent.
Yeah, it was recent.
I just sent this to North.
Dang, that's
I
crazy,
sent
man.
this
Get
to
away
North.
from these.
Like,
I'm telling you.
Monique, what should a woman do to get away from somebody who they know that is capable of killing them and they stalking them? Call the show 937-991-0025.
I mean,
What should a
there's
woman
so
do
many
to get away?
avenues. There's so many avenues that you can take.
Real Neighborhood News. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Michelle. I'm calling from Dayton.
Okay, what's up with you, Sean? What's
How you
your take
doing?
on what we talking about?
I'm gonna turn down my phone, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So I just wanted to, you said if you know someone that's sharing to call in or, experience it or whatever. But I did just want to touch on what you guys were just talking about. Oftentimes we don't understand the victim's reasoning for not leaving because we're not in a situation.
Right.
We don't know her mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But furthermore, that should have never happened to her or her baby. So, anyway, years ago, I had met a young lady at work. And, she was so sweet. Her name was Shanice. She was killed by a guy that I went to school with named Taylor.
Wow.
Anywho,
I'm sorry to hear that.
I had open space in my home, and I just told her, like, you can come and stay with me. She used to beat her, like, really bad. And she used to come to work just all beat up and everything. So, I opened my home to her. She came and stayed with me for, like, one night. And then she said she was going to her mom's house. So she ended up leaving. I thought she was going to her mom's house, and I get a call at like 3 in the morning. And she's like, hey, can you come and get me from Desmond's house? So I went over there to pick her up, and he wouldn't let her leave. It's like freezing outside. We're outside at like 2 in the morning. He wouldn't let her leave. So after 2 hours, I just left. She beat her. They took her to the hospital. So I was a little disappointed that she went back to him even after that situation. So although in hindsight, I know it wasn't the right thing to do, I just stopped talking to her. Like, I would have lengthy conversations with her, like, he's going to kill you one day. You don't have to deal with this. Like, you can come to my house. Just, you don't have to pay any rent. Just, like, save your checks. Save up till you get on your feet. And one day, I was getting ready for work, and I was watching the news, and her picture showed up on the news, and he killed her. So, although I know, we can't really tell. We can offer all the resources that we want to people, but until they mentally get in a space and feel safe, because a lot of times they don't feel safe enough to leave because they're like, well, he's going to find me and he's just going to kill me. It's hard for them to leave because they're conditioned. They're not strong enough mentally to leave them. And a lot of times, unfortunately, this is the outcome.
Where are the friends that are going to stand? Where are the family members that are going to stand? That understand this is the situation, understand that they're weak.
Somehow, because either way, it's rushing away. You say, you may get killed. You leave, you may get killed.
You said you acknowledged that you feel bad about the situation.
Definitely.
If you had it to do over again, what would you have done to try to change what happened?
What could you do?
I don't know, just being there. Just being there, because she didn't have anybody. And I was like, everybody in her life has turned their back on her because of what she was doing and what she was accepting. And sometimes I just like, if I just would have still been that friend, available, readily available, and willing to take her call or just be there, maybe the outcome would have been different. Because if everyone turned their back on her, maybe she felt that's all she had was him. Regardless if it was she had to deal with the abuse and everything. But I remember that angered me so much, and it was like, again, I went to school.
What happened to the boyfriend?
He's in prison.
Good.
Did you go and testify against him?
What? No, I didn't have to testify because it was a little bit of time that had left between when I was, when me and her was, had a friendship, and then when that situation happened, it was like a year or two had left.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. We're gonna move on to Monique because we got a guest in the house. But when she's talking about her story, please call in.
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Okay.
and listen to her story and see if you got any questions for her.
All right,
Okay.
bye.
Okay, thanks.
But she was making a good point about that. Go ahead.
My thing is, when are friends going to stand with their friends? Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's emotionally draining. But if these are people that you call your friends, that you love, that you gonna ride for, when are you gonna stand? Imagine what they going through in their own minds, emotionally, mentally, and then here y'all go. Oh, I'm not gonna talk to you. That's not helping the situation.
There's a question to rebuttal what you just said. It said, what about the friends or the family members that are getting killed from domestic violence situations? Because that friend,
Y'all, if y'all know what
back.
the situation is,
If he killed
y'all
her, you
need
don't
to
think
know
that
how
he
to
would
deal
kill
with
him
these
as well.
situations accordingly. It's too many situations to build awareness for us to know, okay, that's just like I tell my brother, this is not my situation, but if I say the father of my child is hitting on me, I need to come over there. You think my brother ain't about to be waiting for him? Go ahead and pop your ass up if you want to.
So now your brother kill him and go to jail.
He ain't gonna have to kill him because
What about if
he
he does?
already know.
Right.
If you set a standard and say, listen, this is what you're not gonna do to my family member. I'm that friend that's gonna let you know. I don't want to hear none of it. I want to see y'all prosper and rise. You get on some bullshit with my friend, you're going to get the bullshit right back to you.
But worst
But
case
they-
scenario,
they-
he there to basically protect you. And worst case scenario, he gotta kill him.
Right.
Because you know what I'm saying? We're
I
dealing
mean,
with killers. That's what we talking about. Niggas
The
that
first
kill.
thing you have to do is speak out. Make sure it's in writing. Make sure you're getting, you're reaching out to Artemis. You're reaching out to family members. You're putting it in writing, saying this is what's going on in case something happens.
Let me bring up another point that kind of like goes in contrast to what you're talking about. How many times do people get into it with their boyfriend and girlfriend? Arguments can happen every day.
Every day.
And these arguments can be so offensive to others, but not really to the people inside that relationship because
Right.
they used to throwing them blows.
Speak out.
So when you go and you tell your brother, man, he called mom a bitch and said she wasn't shit and this and that, bruh hates him forever.
Right.
But y'all done
Bruh,
made up and forgot
Mhm.
it all. But now that brother is still there that hates him.
Right.
So people don't really tell people what go on inside their relationship for that reason. Because
But
you don't want
sometimes you
wait a
have
minute, because
to.
you don't want to turn your people off. So the point
Bless
being,
you.
like going to tell everybody, oh man, this nigga is abusing me, he's abusing me. It probably goes through a cycle of abuse before they even feel so
They
desperate
speak
to
out.
tell anybody.
Yes.
about
I always-
And two though,
And that's
when
where
you
they
tell
gotta
somebody, like say you go and you tell your brother, and your brother go and do something, and then you go and get back with that dude.
Right.
That's what old girl was saying on the phone.
So
Right. She
It's the
helped her and then she went and got
communication.
back
Let
with her.
your
So-
family and your friends know. I don't want you to go to jail. We're going to, if you come up with a plan, reach out to the resources you need to. Artemis will move you.
What's
Artemis, it's a
There we go.
domestic violence program that will move you.
Let's talk
That will
about
it.
pay for
Wait.
transportation
Yeah, there you go.
to get up out of there. They'll pay for if you got.
This is important.
Everything. They will make sure your kids have clothes and everything they need. Like there's
Wow.
a lot of imminent situations that make us aware, and we do not reach out to the resources,
Yeah,
even
that's
if you
a-
don't want to
that-
tell
that's-
the family.
resource.
That is amazing.
How would a woman be able to get in touch with Artemis? Or,
Yeah, like
You
yeah.
can call. You can Google it. You can call 211. You can call the police, and they're going to hook you up. If you got to call Children's Place, I mean not Children's Place, Children's Services.
Yeah.
Call them. Call who you need to because you're trying to protect your life and your kids. You have to live for your kids.
Yeah.
Not all situations are the police against you. And as you see with this girl, they were trying to get her out of that situation. They were giving her resources. Hey, go to the shelter. That shelter is there for that. They're trained for those particular situations and scenarios.
That is amazing.
That's
That's amazing.
that's
So
important.
so we want to get to your start part of the story. So congratulations on the new baby shower
Thank
and
you.
congratulations on your new addition.
Thank
How was the baby shower?
It was beautiful. My
What'd
family
you love about it the
was
most?
The games. The games were hilarious. My uncle came up here and won every game. He was
Okay.
like, I didn't come all the way to Ohio for nothing.
Mhm.
So, it was just fun. The menu was great. The kids were happy.
Mhm.
It was, I'm in an amazing space with just everything in life.
So this is number 5 for you. So how is Antonio doing? I mean, you have one of the most.
We got My fault, Pete.
Go
Let
ahead.
me
Go ahead.
do something.
Off the backboard.
I want to know, we got a few people watching, okay? So right now, I want to get into this get out situation that Antonio went through. You had a son that got adopted by a family who wanted to exploit him for sports.
Yes.
Oh, your black son, how tall is he?
He's 6'6" now.
And they picked him up when he was how old?
I want to say he said 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so what went on in this situation where you're saying, give me all the details about it.
Okay.
Like a recap for people who aren't familiar with the story.
Start with the adoption.
I was a victim of domestic violence, and he knew I was getting away. I was I was reaching out to my family, reaching out to different resources to get out. He literally targeted my firstborn child and raped her in her sleep while I was at the grocery store. It ruined my life forever, emotionally, mentally. I don't care where I am in life, how much I've tried to, rebuild, heal, grow. That's going to be something that will forever affect all of us, in every aspect.
Yes.
So, he got adopted out. I want to say they said in 2008 or whatever. He was adopted out. Originally, he was supposed to be adopted out by a black family that, allowed me to be a part of their life. It's his life. They would bring him to my job, bring him to the church. They were always just supportive. They were going to testify against the children's services, lying on my son, doing whatever they could to get him out of that black home. The Follies adopted him based on his sports and academics.
Who are the Follies?
This is the adopted family that ended up adopting him and changing his name. They outbid this other family.
So, like, the original family was black. The second family was
white.
Okay.
And it's a system
And to get him
kids?
out of there, they put him in other homes in between that. And then here come the Follies, finding out he's, amazing in sports, watching him in sports. They adopted him in 6 months. You're not going to know everything about a child, a person, in 6 months. You could tell it was, it was an agenda there. They had him for a few years. My son was trying to get comfortable, and when I seen him, he was like, Mom, they try to tell me.
Where did he move to when he went to the Follies?
He moved to Logan County, Ohio. I believe that's Bell Fountain.
And how many were there other black kids around him?
They had adopted another black athlete who was really big on track and other sports, but it was more so running sports.
Did they have them in the house together, or
There was an age gap. They were together for a little while, but then the little boy got older. They changed his name as well to their last name, and now he's in college, building on that name in sports under that track.
So he
legacy.
actually made it to college.
Yes, they made sure they got pictures. It's all on Google. It's public
So
records.
they went and got another black child.
Yes.
And that's your son.
Yes.
How is your son built? You said he's 6'6" right now.
He's 15. He's 6'6". He wears about a 12.5-inch shoe. He's grown a few inches since the last time we spoke. He's tall, dark, and handsome. A gentleman. Very respectful.
How was he treated at the school that he went
dealt
to?
with the racism. I mean, this is an all-white community that, when they see a black person, I feel like they know it's a ticket there. It's some type of financial ticket. Like if you're in an all-white home and the parents are all white, they have their own white child, then they see them with these two black. Oh, you're helping the community. First of all, my son's not from your community. My son's from Dayton, Ohio. He was born in Dayton, Ohio. So, where their intentions seemed like they were pure, but once again, it was that agenda because they knew my son was going to be able to be drafted easily for the NBA. They put him in camps. He already went through Division II camps in Portsmouth, Ohio. And he was supposed to be going back this year, but instead, because of his cry out to at least have access to his community, his family, they tried to Well, they detained him. They were trying to put him in the psych ward, you know.
What happened for him to leave the Follies?
He had ran away a few months ago, back in December, because he was attacked by the Follies. I had been in contact with the Follies from 2019, or no, I want to say 2020 to 2021, but they would never let me speak to my son.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just awkward because my oldest daughter also got trapped in the system because of dealing with domestic violence, trying to get out of the domestic violence, and friends who were not supportive and not standing with you during that time. And then the situation evolves to domestic violence to rape. You know, y'all friends, these friends are not friends, and they'll turn around and make the situation worse. You know, especially when you're pushing them and saying, you know, I'm just not going to talk to you anymore, or, you know, I got my own thing going on. Y'all should have just stayed where y'all was at.
Let me ask you this, just in the spirit of pushback. What could you have done better? I mean, so you got how many kids they ended up in foster care?
3.
You got 3 that ended up in foster care.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have heard that the foster care is a mean thing, okay? But there's plenty of people who kids never go there. So, what could you do different now that wouldn't land you in this same situation with missing your kids and your kids having to go through this kind of stuff?
Great question.
My first response would be having a better support system, having better friends to trust in a situation like that. Also, you have to be in that situation to see how these people move vindictively, because sometimes you're backed in the wall and you'll be like, what the heck, and how is this legal and possible? And you don't know what to do or what you could have did differently except stand and speak out. And even it says in the Bible, in Isaiah 58, it says, cry aloud and spare not. And when you think you're doing the right thing, you're not. When you think you're getting the right attorney, you're not. Because a lot of these people are all in cahoots. They all know about what they can do or what they don't want to do, or they'll just say, I don't want to be involved.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you made some rather bold claims saying that there were sexual aggression allegations. You speak more to that?
With my son?
Yes.
The sexual allegations came from how he was physically handling my son. If you're trying to get a phone from your child, you can easily grab his elbow like this, you know, boop. You can do a different move, you know what I'm saying? I'm trained in those areas too. There's different things that you can do. You don't necessarily have to put them in a chokehold to try to put them to sleep, because if they buckle, when they buckle, what are they going to do? They're going to bend over. You're going to have to catch them like this. He's unconscious. What does that look like? It looks like it could be a sexual aggressive move towards this child that doesn't even know why they're getting attacked for trying to be in contact with his mom. If he can't be in contact with his mom, what are you trying to stop him from being in contact with his mom for? Because what is on your agenda? We know it's a meal ticket. We know you have a thing for black men being in your home to help them supposedly elevate under your control. What is the stipulations of your control?
So this family where he was adopted into, you think that it is more along the line of when they take children and
I believe that
child trafficking?
I believe with my son's situation, it's about power and gain. From that power, I have the power to use these children because I know my child is not going to have these abilities, to use these children to, to their advantage and to my advantage and my financial advantage, and to build my name up and pay to play.
I hope this is Bumby calling, because she got an
I love
amazing
Bumby.
story too. Her story is nice. Real Neighborhood News. What's your name? Where you calling from? Hello.
Hello. Caller, don't stall
Bumby
her.
said that these questions needed to be answered. The energy vampires are real, preying on children. They do that. So, all right. So after he left, what's going on with the Follies now?
First off, let me say to everybody, when the situation happened with my son, I didn't know what to do until after I talked to my son. I got a call from him on Instagram. And when I missed those calls and I finally responded, like I said in the post in December, there was no page to contact him on.
Hi, y'all. This is Bumby.
Hey, Bumby.
Hey, what's up, Bumby?
Hey, so just to piggyback off what you were saying about her experience, I tuned in late, so I'm not sure if this is what I think this first time.
Yeah.
And y'all already know how I feel about the foster care system
Facts.
and systems just in general. People feed on children. People feed on the elderly. People prey on people who have not the ability to protect themselves, whether it's verbally, like she said. A lot of these people, it may not be like sex trafficking, but they get off on being able to force people to do things that give them a false sense of power due to whatever inferior complex that they have about themselves. So I was just watching Dr. Phil like last week, and they had a white man that was a pedophile, but his wife and him were foster parents for years. This was like literally on Dr. Phil's show. And nobody spoke out until they were like 10 years already deep with multiple children in their homes and stuff like that. And the girl was like, she didn't necessarily remember the man doing something to her until years down later in therapy when she realized, okay, she was sexually abused. So as she was saying, if you're a person that's trying to get control of a child and obtain something for a child, there are proper etiquettes that you go about that way. So you don't even have questions about, you know, what this person was doing with my child when they were unconscious, because people are not right and people use these systems to prey on children. So that's all I got to say.
Man,
Well, thank you so much, Bumby, for sure.
All right, peace, y'all.
Peace.
I'm about to tune back in, though.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, one thing that Bumby said, and I don't know if it was Bumby or not, but we've interviewed
Multiple calendars.
multiple queens that have been through this foster system.
Janelle.
And
Yes,
one
Janelle.
thing that,
It was Janelle.
One
And me
thing
and her
that they
very
said,
close.
Bumby been through foster care too.
Yeah, I was talking about like Janelle's situation with her child being taken.
But a couple of them said that they had got to the point where they didn't want to go back to their parents because of the instability.
Right.
And because of all the turmoil that they were experiencing.
Oh, yeah.
Like they had
on Bumby's
they
story.
wanted everything to be okay, and if they had it like a picture perfect
But
situation.
everything's not going to be okay.
I know that, but even though it's not, like a lot of times when we talk to people and they say they didn't even know that they were struggling as children. Okay? And so everything don't gotta be okay to the parent for it to be okay to the child, because they don't realize that
It's not okay.
that things are tough. And so that's why me and Beanut said you don't got the right to abort a child just because you don't got no money.
Right.
Because the child don't care about that. They clinging and loving the life experience. And it also kind of lends to the thing to say you don't go and remove a child based on poverty alone.
Yes.
Right.
But recklessness, dealing with children.
Endangerment.
Children, like dare I say, now let me ask you this. If a woman is constantly being threatened to be abused and the man is always saying, hey, I'll kill you and your child, but the woman refuses to leave, should that child be removed from that home?
Yes. Placed with a family member, not necessarily put in the system, but until you can get your stuff together,
I feel like
remove the child, because the child does not deserve to see if you're going to deal with that, the child does not need to see that. Let the child go to the grandmother, a family member, a church member, somebody that's going to protect their innocence.
Probably think that the child is standing there as guard to protect. They're like, he might kill me, but he wouldn't kill me in front of my kid. And they feel like that's their barrier from stopping somebody from doing something that's terrible.
It's truly sad, man, that we live in this world.
That's just like when Nino
like
grabbed that child and put that child in front of him,
no doubt,
to stop the bullets.
Great
That's
point.
the same thing.
It's the same exact thing.
Same exact thing.
Same
you
thing,
using
bro.
that child as a barrier so you won't get killed.
Yes.
And that's sad. That's honestly sick.
Yeah.
Why would you use a child when you can stand on your own and make the proper decisions and move accordingly for you and the child.
So I want to touch on, you know what I'm saying, the impact of your last well, you know, let's talk about the impact of, you know, like your last and your first 2 times on our platform. How much support did you get from the community, and what kind of backlash did you receive from the community?
What about the women that don't leave? Do that mean they don't care about the man more than the children?
That mean they
What
care
is the
about the
question?
man more than the child.
Or they caring about their feelings. It might not even be the man.
Right.
Do that
They
mean
care
they care
about-
more about the man than the
Or
child?
they just might be scared though. I ain't gonna say that because it
I
could
don't
be
even believe
fear.
that.
It could be fear to sleep with them there.
Sometimes these women be addicted to these abusive
Exactly, and
men,
they like
give
it.
a fuck more about the man than they do their children.
Or they don't want to be heartbroken, so I'm just going
Right.
to stay because I don't want to feel the heartbreak.
They don't want to hurt
And we
his
ain't gonna
feelings.
get on these men about they don't give a fuck about the woman, the kids, nothing. They
Right.
just go and get
Right,
a
let
new
that be
woman
known that the
pregnant,
men is
leave
just
her,
fucked
get
up,
with
and that's
another
why
woman,
we're not
get her
speaking on the
pregnant,
men as
leave
much
her.
as the woman. Because that
A lot
man
of
is
times,
just fucked up.
sometimes they do,
for
but I
having a
think that
woman
they
in that
overstate
situation.
how bad. I think black men is actually better fathers than they get credit for.
Yes,
I think
I
fathers-
agree.
I mean,
I think
especially
fathers are
with
sticking around a lot more. I don't deal with nobody that ain't no good.
It's all a mindset.
Good dad.
Right.
man.
That's how I look at
Right.
it. Like, I don't know any fucked
I
up
don't know.
fathers.
Yeah.
Like, I might know maybe 1 or 2.
And
but
what
I
a
don't
woman
know how
calls a
fucked up they
deadbeat,
are.
a lot of times
is completely not the contrary.
necessarily true or textbook.
Right.
Based off of
What
their
is a
perception.
deadbeat, though? What is
I
a
think a
deadbeat?
deadbeat is somebody who does not provide for their child on a regular basis, consistently.
Agreed. Or, okay, what about a
And
man?
every day is an opportunity to provide for your child. So if you skip a day, you know,
Make it up with
you
2.
fucked up, you was a deadbeat for that day at least.
Right,
You gotta be there every day for your child.
right.
I mean, I just think it's being there.
To the best of your
Yeah, to the
ability.
best of your
Sometimes, but
ability.
these women will block
Sometimes
the nigga
situations
from
may
doing
have
the
you
things that he
can't
could
do.
Or
for
sometimes
his
the
child.
women are making it easy for him. You know, us women,
Sometimes
we make
they
it
do
easy
both.
for the fathers too, and then they feel like,
Make it
well,
easy for
she
them
got
to
it,
do it.
so I don't got to worry about that. Even
Kings, go downtown and pay that $168, and you go ahead and get your rights back, man.
Real neighborhood news. What's your name?
My
What you
court
got?
date in 24 days.
All right, this
My court date in
Bumpy,
24
I'm
days.
sorry, I would
Good job.
Come on, Bumpy. What you got?
back off of something. We're not gonna take away from the women who really do experience deadbeats, because yes, there are good fathers. However, it's an epidemic out here where niggas lack responsibility for what they are out here creating. Niggas
Agreed.
think about Plan Bs and pay for abortion, and if a woman don't want to subject herself to a Plan B or an abortion, that gives them the right to not be a parent to their child. People also don't want to be parents,
It did.
whether
It did.
they want to blame it on the baby mother's attitude or not. Now, I'm not
Yeah, that's
agreeing with it
foolishness.
and saying that women
Nah, that's
have
not
an
right.
attitude.
That's-
However,
Why would she have an
y'all
attitude?
knew what y'all was getting to when y'all laid down with that woman.
But well, what about when the woman lays down with the man,
And she
and the
want to get
woman
divorced.
needs? And you're right, Bumpy. So what I'm saying is, what I'm about to say isn't cutting down what you said, because everything that you said is right. But I want women to understand one thing: you have to pick the men that you sleep with more carefully.
And that's
You
the
have
answer.
to choose
Approved.
wisely on who you let fuck you.
But you don't
And it-
know all the
but
time.
you have
You don't wait
better
long
odds
enough.
of getting to know this person and
Than
treating
getting
yourself
pregnant.
Exactly.
I agree.
Pick a person and make him earn it. Show him your value.
Culture.
Show him your value.
Take
By
responsibility.
not
they can
giving
still do
yourself
all of
away
that.
too fast.
They can still do all of that, and then years down the line,
But have you
I
tried
was 6
that?
months from my. I
Have you
was,
tried that?
Me and
Have
me
you
and
tried to
Melody's
make a
dad,
man wait for a year?
What's the longest?
A year.
Actually, even with her dad,
What's the longest?
even with my baby, the child I'm pregnant with now, we
if
dated
you did that, you're
for
an
8 months.
You're okay. So you're an exception.
We never had sex.
Women are
So
not
what's the short?
getting to know these
Huh.
men
Sure.
fast
It's
enough.
for
I
the-
mean,
it's for she
long
has sex
enough
with a man.
before they are letting
Like, why-
them
what's
inside.
that?
of
One
them
mic,
and
y'all.
getting
One
pregnant.
mic, please. Remember.
Exactly. So no excuses.
Yeah.
What I say to that
Just wait
is
till they
that
call us off,
men
and then y'all
women
can bust it
are
up.
both promiscuous, and that they should stay away from each other until they know proper courting rules. Because the way black culture is set up right now is not geared for men and women to not be fuck face with each other. Period. Like,
it has to change. And I don't think that it's very responsible to keep saying how something is and that's the way that it should be.
Arranged
and not
marriages.
Participating in how it should be yourself.
Arranged marriages.
Bumpy don't really got to worry about how it is for Monique would. The best thing that you can do for the rest of the world is make the most of yourself. And if we all got that type of mind frame and Bumpy makes a man earn it, regardless of what Monique does, Bumby, your situation will be a lot better. You'll be able to grow from that experience and then teach Monique how you did it so she can apply the same thing.
Sharing
Don't
the
say how things are and just chalk the shit up.
You just contradict yourself.
No,
there's no solution.
Wait.
You're not giving a solution. You can
wait, y'all. Just wait till the call.
There are men. Now it's levels to this deadbeatery. Bed to a deadbeat. Men feel like paying child support, however much child support they pay, whether it's $40 or $400 or $4,000 a month, is just all that is needed, and there's not no right or wrong answer in that. But from my experiences with the poor, because most black women live in poverty, those child support payments is not making up for the fact that they don't have an active father in the home every day.
That's terrible.
Can I ask her a question?
Right, Bumpy.
Bumpy, have you noticed how the social workers from Children's Services, they target the families in poverty to take their kids?
Hold on, Bumpy. We got a question for you.
Like, there's a family that I know. This woman has 12.
What's your question for her, real quick, Monique?
Okay.
So we can let her out of here.
The question is, have you noticed how the system targets families, whether it's a two-parent home or a single-parent home, that are in poverty, to say, you're not capable? Instead of helping, they'll say, you're not capable of taking care of your kids, and then pay all these thousands of dollars, knowing they're going to get all those extra thousands of dollars when they get them adopted out. Wow. That is a big pattern.
That's the system.
Black people need to stop pimping their children to a system. If they stop pimping
exactly.
to the system and start educating themselves, the system will not have the ability to come and destroy the home. Now, black women pimp themselves, and black men allow black women to pimp themselves on welfare and other things as well too.
But if they need it, but that's held against them. That's held against them when they don't use those resources.
Free apartment and let the government take care of their children in order for them.
But if they don't use those resources, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
And men need to make better choices on who they choose to get pregnant.
Agreed.
Also, SMED, 100% ease. You exactly right. Men. But I'm talking to the queens right now, because you know what? These dumbass niggas can just walk away any fucking time. Facts. So we trying to help the sisters right now, because I got my daughters. Exactly. And the advice that I'm giving my daughters, whether they listen to me or not, is make a man value you and make him earn it and make him get to know you and be in love with you before you give him your treasure. And then your chances of him walking out just because he doesn't want to be a father will be cut down a whole lot. Because he'll love the whole package. He'll love you and be happy that he's having a child.
And I think that's what the problem is.
That exists out here, you guys. There are men who are actually happy when they find out their woman is pregnant. Why? Because he loves her.
Yes.
And so stop thinking that all men out here like, you know what I'm saying? And men get women pregnant on purpose, man.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
yeah. A lot of times.
For sure.
And women get pregnant by men on purpose. And I be looking like, wow, girl, he don't even like you in that way, but you want to have his baby?
But I think when a man is getting a woman pregnant on purpose, he has some type of mind frame that he wants to be a part of her life forever.
Right.
Or he wants to be a part of, he wants to either tie her down, be a part of her.
It's control.
So what needs to happen is, like, some of this stuff is just like the men's attitude and the women's attitude. And we need to, like, quit listening to this dumbass music, feeling like, man, like a woman don't need a man and a man don't need a woman. Like, we need each other.
We need each other, for sure.
We need
and every song is fuck a bitch and fuck nigga.
Programming.
The child needs the mother and the father.
Agreed.
A badge of honor for being a single mother. While I do admit that it is an awesome thing. It's an awesome. It's a challenge that when you are able to do it because a man is ran out, I respect that. But it is
That's
not
not awesome.
something to strive to
It's
be.
Right,
not.
that is
It's
not an
not
awesome
something that you
thing.
want to brag about. Nobody wants to
No,
brag about being a
But
single
I'm telling you,
parent.
being a single mom is a popular hashtag that
Man,
women
but
love
it's
to
not
throw
awesome,
around.
man.
That it's the
I
same
don't
thing
love
as
it at
brothers
all.
bragging about
That's
getting out of jail.
That's not it.
what
We
is
glad
that?
you
What is
survived
the word I'm
prison,
looking
bro.
for?
We get that, but it's not a for real accomplishment to have made, man. You know.
Most women are not happy to be single mothers, no matter how happy they tell you they
Yeah.
are.
Man,
They
I-
try to make the best of
My
the
last
situation.
relationship, my last relationship, I told her,
The
like,
problems
literally.
that the women have, especially black women in America, with the diseases that we develop with our reproductive system.
Look at baby in the
and our
background.
breast system,
And
we
she's
are
so
not
beautiful.
happy. We need.
That's
our
his mama.
Daughter look just like her. That is your twin.
Yeah.
That is your twin.
Carbon copy.
Y'all is like the
That's
same.
traumatizing.
The for real same. But nah, thank you for your insight, Bumby. We
No,
gonna
seriously,
hang up.
Thank
and
you,
see somebody
Bumby.
else.
Love you, Bumby.
Appreciate you.
That's trauma for a black woman to be.
You guys start the
Left
show
or
937
when you
991
Didn't make a
0025.
baby by
A
herself.
single black
Hey,
woman, a strong
like
black
we
woman.
talking about a couple of things. We talking about domestic violence, women being murdered and tracked down and hunted down by crazy men.
Yes.
We talking about this system where Monique's black son was adopted by a white family, and it seems allegedly to only play sports, and they had adopted another black kid before him,
They ran track.
and that ran track, and now he's in college doing it. So
Not even under his
have
their
you
name.
talked to the family who actually adopted your son since he ran away and got him back and been in jail, or what?
They immediately tried to put a domestic violence protection order on me. I forgot to
For
send
what?
you. Exactly. The question was for what? Like,
No, why did they say you did it? Not saying you.
they
What
were
did they
just-
allege?
They were saying things like, "Well, I sent you the documentation on what they said."
Just tell us about
Basically, they were saying that we were harassing their home. We were making threats to kill them. They were getting prank calls. What else did they say? They said that their son was afraid that someone was going to come in their home and he was sleeping on the floor. They won't sleep by their windows now. Just a whole bunch of stuff to try to detour what they had did to my black son.
I also want to ask, so like, they received backlash from our last two shows. What backlash and what love did you have from our last correspondent?
As soon as the podcast was over, before the podcast, I was already in touch with Anwo, Nan, Arrest CPS, the Black Panthers, Reverend Killings from Al Sharpton's network, and they were giving me guidance every step of the way.
Okay.
After the backlash, it was just so hurtful because the character of the mother and the woman that I am, to see some of the comments because of the situation I had to endure trying to leave, in the midst of leaving the situation and already going to a shelter, already going to a new home, things of that nature. And there is an attachment bond that should have been broken. And then being naive, being young, you know what I mean? Being with a person from the time you're a teenager to the time, you're almost 30, there was attachment issues to where my spirit had to take lead to get him out of that situation, and then boom.
So
Here
you
comes
got
my
a
daughter.
question from Shay Gordon,
Okay.
and she said, "Is it okay for women to keep having kids when they already have kids in the system?"
Honestly, life goes on. Every day, you can't taunt and torment yourself from it. It also depends on how they lost their kids. Because some of these women are out here very negligent, very just, it's a lot of people with their kids that don't deserve their kids.
And somebody said, "Why didn't she fight for your kids? Why didn't she fight for him before adoption?"
Oh, I definitely fought.
Yeah.
Oh, it was definitely a fight, just like it was a fight whenever my son was assaulted. Yeah, that goes without saying, baby. I'm Monique Davis.
I got a question.
I don't play them games. It was a war. It wasn't a fight. It was a war.
I got a question on the entire on the other side. Like, if these people, what's the name? The Lawrence? If the
Follies.
The Follies. If the Follies were
What you call them?
the Lawrence. I don't know why I call
Take
it
a
that.
boy.
Yeah, If the Follies was trying they was trying to raise your son and send him to college and possibly get a career, then what's wrong with that?
It was nothing wrong with it. I was supportive. I had spoken with them.
It's a good shot.
We were giving, good vibes to each other, but they were just like, we don't want you to be in contact with him. Why am I talking to you guys for this extended amount of time after my daughter has also been poisoned in the system? And then the same day after y'all want to cover up this whole poisoning situation, they said they want you to be a part of your son's life, and it's not. It doesn't seem like that's happening here.
Did all 3 of your children get taken at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And what was the reason for him?
Honestly, I will never understand the reason, but they said per the guardian ad litem's decision, we dominated in the courtroom. I paid David Stinson. He still was, he still could have done different things to my defense, but paperwork don't lie. They can say Monique didn't do this, but Monique has multiple documents saying she did this, and this. So it was a war.
So
I'm not going to play about my kids.
That they said that they took him.
That was the reason. They said per the guardian ad litem's recommendation, which was this hillbilly white lady looking like, I'm telling you, she looked like a hillbilly.
Oh, so you saying per the guardian ad litem? I didn't understand what that means. So you saying that it was like a social worker or something?
Yeah.
She's not even a social worker. She's like the guardian. So basically, she could have been like, say,
The mediator.
All the,
But
basically.
for lack of a better term,
A mediator.
Yes, a social,
somebody that was teaching the kids.
court-appointed comes
guardian
through to
to make
assess
the
the
decision.
situation.
Well, she wasn't even keeping them. She made she did not know my kids.
At all?
None.
She was just observing the situation.
She was observing
Yes.
the
Outside,
situation.
Yeah.
Seeing my kids.
We got to call her.
All right, Real Neighborhood News. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This Shay. I just
Hey,
asked
Shay.
a question about people having multiple babies after their kids are already in the system.
Yeah.
Okay, first I'm going to tell Monique, this is nothing personal to you and your situation. I'm just curious. But
Thank you.
I want to know how people feel like it's okay to already have kids in the system and then have more kids and you didn't get your other kids out of the system. I just feel like that people don't take into consideration of the other child, how they feel that their parents have moved on to have other kids before they get that situation cleared.
That's a great question.
All right.
Well, with my
now, hold on,
situation-
Shay. I'm going to let her answer, and then I'll let you come back. Go ahead.
I can't speak for everybody else, but me and my kids knew what they were aiming for before they told me off rip. I was like, I'm working, I have my own home, I already had a 3-bedroom, y'all need to go ahead and send them home. There's no reason for them to be separated when they can all be at home together. When we knew that they were fighting us to get permanent custody of the kids, and I found out I was pregnant with the nugget, they were all happy because they were just like, Mom, if they take us, because I would have to sit down and talk to my 6 and 7 and 3-year-old children and tell them, if they take you away, I want you guys to move forward with your life, finish school, do not look back on this past and let it detour your growth and your development to be, productive human beings. So when we found out that we were pregnant, we wasn't in the trial space yet, and they were happy after the permanent custody because they was like, my mom's not going to be alone. They loved their sister very, very much. I don't know where I would be. I'd probably be in jail already. I'd probably been to blew that building up, whatever else. I wouldn't have finished school because I wouldn't have felt like I had anything to live for.
I just think on the outside looking in, I just feel like it's selfish to continue to have kids and you already have kids in the system that you haven't got out yet. So I do kind of.
But some people don't deserve to have their kids in the system for them to not get them out.
Well, you don't know what the other kids feel.
Right.
You moving on to have another baby and give them the life that you couldn't give them.
See, my kids had the exact same life. I'm still the same mom. I discipline my kids the same way. I'm not the best disciplinarian. I admit that, But my kids, they know, they know what's up. They know what's up. And to know that their mommy is still prospering and growing and them knowing mommy is still being mommy and not out here in the streets being whatever else, that's a plus. If they seeing them take care of her, take care of the other kids in a satisfactory way, they're going to question the system. Be like, why couldn't I be at home with my mom? My mom has to wake up every day. I used to wake up every day like, God, I don't want to live. I do not want to be here anymore. And I had to get out of that mindset because God is waking me up every day to live. So I have to rebuild my life accordingly. Monique had already started school, trying to finish nursing when I was fighting for my kids, and I had to quit so I could fight for my kids and be there for my parents. You know, it was not an easy journey. So it depends on the caliber of the mother and the woman, because I know women that lost their kids didn't fight for their kids. They didn't. I'm the only black parent that ever protested until the Brooks came out and also called arrest CPS all around the same time that everything was going on with my son.
Right.
And we protested together in front of Children's Services.
And
had the news and everything on our asses.
I will continue that.
So
And
what you mean by move on? So you meaning that you know for a fact that you're never getting your other kids back?
I know for a fact that permanent custody is permanent custody. They sat here and told me to my face, Shay, with this situation with my son, that they after they dropped the domestic violence protection order on me because they didn't have a choice, I haven't assaulted my son. They had the audacity to put in the paperwork that I am not his family or his relative to have a domestic violence protection order on them, knowing they utilized domestic violence on my son because I was not a family member for my black son. They take away all those rights.
wow.
So yes.
I just feel like if I was in a situation I lost my child, emotionally, mentally, I would never be able to have another child, knowing that I have another child out there.
You don't know what you'll be able to do.
As a mother,
You don't know what you'll be able to
do.
So let me ask you this: so do you think she should never be in a relationship again either?
No, I don't agree to that.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on for a second. So she's in a loving relationship with somebody she cares about, and they are having sex. When she gets pregnant, should she abort the child?
Nugget was a planned
I'm not
pregnancy.
Say that because I'm not talking about her specifically, but I'm just saying consciously.
No, I'm just like, wait a minute. We're just speaking in general here. For any mother whose child gets taken, are they forbidden from getting in another loving relationship with somebody?
I did at first.
Wait a minute.
I would say no.
No. So children come from loving relationships.
Mm-hmm.
What should she do once she gets pregnant?
That's what I'm asking because I really.
What would you do?
I would be on birth control and we'll be having sex with condoms and we will be doing everything.
If you got pregnant in spite and despite all your efforts
Right.
to not get
It's
pregnant,
not 100%.
Right.
It happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
What would you do?
What would I do if it just needs to happen?
So the answer is what Monique would just told you. You don't know what you would do, babe, because you have to be in this person's situation in order to definitely say what you would do. Okay, but the things that you're saying, is very reasonable, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying, and I think Monique would have to agree that it could be looked at from a child that their parent moved on, and it could make them feel terrible.
Right.
I feel like my oldest daughter,
especially if they're in a bad foster home being abused,
and they're seeing their siblings,
and then they see their mom having new children, and that child is being raised by their parent. I mean, listen, there's resentment among children that are living in the same home over who is the parent's favorite, right? Let alone you being stripped away from your mother based on mistreatment, unfortunate circumstances,
paperwork,
some type of shit that they putting in them kids' hair that you
and they do that
unfit parent, right? And so while that's in their mind, they see their brother and sister, a new baby, come and living their best life. It could be something that they could be upset by. But thank you for the call, Shay. You got any last point before we get a floor to Monique?
I just want to tell her good luck and congratulations on the new baby.
There we go. Oh, that's love.
Man, for sure.
That's love.
Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. So like you also sent me screenshots, you know what I'm saying, showing a conversation between you and your son, and during this interaction you never see the difference. Like I'm looking at it and it's making me feel like it's me and my mom talking, because we talk like that all the time. Like he talked to you about day-to-day things. It's not just, you know, like, so I understand what you're saying. Like, you're still involved. You still, like, I mean, I understand, like, you moved on, but you still are there present in some type of fashion, because I know fathers out there that don't even do that much.
Man, listen,
right?
I done showed up to the group home where my daughter was, bringing clothes, shoes, personal items, hair products, and they would turn around and be like, okay, thank you so much for bringing this. When expect me to come, I'm coming out in the wintertime wearing flip-flops, knowing I got my own personal needs. No, my daughter needs this.
Right.
And then as soon as they close the door, oh yeah, you're not having that.
Right.
You're not going to have this for your, you know, we don't care if your mom just came here or not. You know what I mean? You're not going to get this stuff. My daughter communicated with me. I'm calling Children's Services. What is the problem? You know, right. And Children's Services would be like, well, you should have gave it to us to give to them.
Nah.
You know, that's not what effort is. You know what I mean? I want my daughter to see that effort. I'm just one of those persistent kind of parents. I don't give a fuck. What you gonna do? Take me to jail?
You hit on a key point, because like a lot of times, like for instance, like that is my gripe with child support, because you giving that money away, right, to the betterment of your child, but your child is having a perception of mom is doing it all by herself, when in all actuality, like I said, for me, I got 3 kids and I'm on child support for none of them. You feel me? Like they all are taken care of by me, period. So at the end of the day, it's like, to be able to take my child when they have a dentist appointment or this and the third, it hit different. Like it hit different. Like you get a chance to, okay, my kid needs some shoes. You pop up with the shoes. You pop up with the items, the clothing, and things like that. It really gives a different feel to the dynamic with you and your child.
They know that, though. That's why they said
the kids
that,
know. The kids know the parents that are putting in the effort, that are fighting, that don't give a fuck. Like, excuse me for cussing.
Oh no, you are.
But I'm just one of those parents that don't. What y'all gonna do? Lock me up for a couple of days? They're gonna be like, okay, we're locking her up for trying to be there for her kids.
Right.
And that's what I said. The system know that it hit different. They know. That's why
they
they
cooperate with me now. They be like, Monique, well,
you know
we got you.
Give it to us first. Because they know
so they can turn around.
Yeah. So they can give it to them and be like,
and make it seem like this is what we got you.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not going to happen.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
So let's speak of legalities and legal systems. There's a dynamic here that we got across the Judge Mathis situation. Can you give us a little bit of that? Why were you on Judge Mathis? What was the experience like? What happened on Judge Mathis?
The Judge Mathis situation was completely stemmed off of just uncalled for cattiness. It went from one thing to another thing to another. Who was
the protagonist in the situation? Did you solicit the services of Judge Mathis, or were you summoned to go on Judge Mathis? How does that even work?
Okay, I reached out to Judge Mathis.
Okay.
Honestly, it wasn't my intentions, but I felt like compelled. Like, you keep coming for me.
What was the
Who's coming for you?
I'm about to explain.
Okay.
Let's get our call.
Here we go.
Real Neighborhood News. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Tisha Davis. Curious Energy, once again, calling from Dayton.
Hey, Miss Davis. How you doing?
Tish, Curious Energy. How you feeling tonight? All right, come on.
Something else on y'all for real. I hear you guys talking, and I hear all this conversation about single. And Monique, by the way, what's up, baby girl?
Hey,
I miss
lady.
you. They kicked me permanently off Facebook, so I'm not on the book no more.
Oh, that's love, though. She still called in.
Shout out to the people.
Shout out to you, man. She should win. Remember, we give her something. She should win.
She do not care.
She should win. She should win.
Okay, come on. Let's get to your point.
We have we as women, especially black women, we should not be going through this. See, it's something that was very important to us at once upon a time, especially to our black men, that's taken from us.
Yes.
And that's legacy.
Yes.
Do you know how important that it used to be for a black man's legacy to continue on?
Right.
You know, do you know how important that it used to be for a black man to have his children, even if to have children, even if they have multiple children, it's still that one woman that will take care of all of them children.
I'm that woman. I'm that woman.
Because he is building a legacy.
Keep going,
we
sis.
have forgotten about that. Our men have forgotten about that and replaced that with selfishness and full of selfishness and greed and enviness, literally turning our black men or African, Aborigine, Niji, whatever you want to call it, my copper-colored men.
There you go,
turning
Queen.
them into Greek. And if you know anything about ancient Greek mythology, then you'll really, and if you really sit back and see, you will understand how this country and how they are literally programming the minds of the people in this country.
Yes.
And it's so sad. And like, Monique, I know everything you're talking about with CPS because I got an incident that I want to talk about too.
Talk about it,
it's really odd. It was really, really crazy. So my children's father had a cousin that passed away, right?
Okay.
And right before she passed away, you know, her children, she was very sickly, okay? And the power of attorney over her children was a white lady, okay? And, you know, she felt the white lady was friendly and everything because they used to come get the kids or whatnot. They lived in Cincinnati, okay? So it was one day right after Thanksgiving, right before Christmas, okay? Her son had came to her and told her, and I think her son was like 4 years old at the time. He said, "Mommy, suck my wee-wee. Suck my wee-wee." And she asked him, like, "Where did you get that from? Where did you get that from?" And her children, all young, came to her telling her about how the white people were making them do strange things to their bodies. You know, so, you know, we talked and she told me, like, asked me, like, what should I do? I don't know what to do. What should I do? You know, and she was asking a couple of the closest ones that she knew these questions, like, what should she do? Should she bring it to their attention or not? So, you know, some time had passed, a little time had passed right before Christmas, and she did mention it to them. Do you know they had spent so much money? They spent literally about $5,000 a piece per child, okay? And then all of a sudden, she passed away, and she was sick. Don't get it twisted. She was sick, right? And do you know these people took them kids, would not let nobody see the kids. We had it in writing and everything because she had it in writing on Facebook telling someone else
about
the incident and what was going on with her children.
And make her look bad as hell.
Yep.
So they
destroyed her character.
They took the kids and gave them to the people who were molesting them.
Yes.
That's the same thing with my son. And they destroyed the mother's character.
Wow.
Children's Services and made so many complaints trying to see how the kids are doing.
I'm not the only parent.
Text messages, I'm talking about from A to Z. Literally. Like, even during her funeral, these white people would not let her children, like, anytime they would try to talk, one of them would be right there, right up under them.
Let me tell you something, Tish.
So I understand. Then, not to mention, I know about human trafficking and how heavy it is, even right here in
Told you, man. My sister be on it.
You know what I'm saying? Like CPS, what's been going on
Cooking.
with child protection?
Is the foster care system in cahoots with the human trafficking?
I believe they
are. Or is that just two separate things you're talking about?
They're definitely come on now.
I'm asking you.
Listen, baby. Just think about it. Okay?
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
We have lots of missing children, and I don't know if you know, I don't know if you guys know, but and check the numbers on this, okay? We have about 600,000 to 800,000 missing children each year in the United States alone. As a matter of fact, the United States have more missing children than out of majority of the countries out here outside of Africa.
Correct.
Why is this, guys?
Again.
Because of this child protective services system. Do you know? Let me tell you something about black women that I noticed too. You would be so surprised at the many women right here in Dayton, Ohio. I know a woman who gave birth 6 times. Don't have custody of not now one of them. Why? Because she gave them up or sold them as soon as she had them, didn't get to name them or nothing. We have a real serious issue going on in Dayton that really is not addressed out here. We have women that's having 13, that's killing in 13, 14 children, right? Via abortions, 13, 14 black children on top of the murders, penitentiary, child protective services. We have women that's performing having 13 abortions. Some of them 6, 7, and 8 months pregnant. We have 13. A real psychological issue going on within our culture, and especially right here in Dayton, Ohio. We have children.
Well, hold on, wait a minute. Okay, now, Queen, you are definitely well versed in some of the challenges, and like, man, your ability to break things down is amazing. So let me get to the other side of your mind, okay? Give me some solutions that we can use to combat all of these challenges that we're up against.
I'm going to tell you a simple solution that we really don't know. We just got to get together and sing. Remember what it was like to sing? Do you remember what it was like to hear children's voices? Do you remember what it's like to hear a woman who sings so good and from the soul and make you want to hug the person next to you? That's something simple that we can do. We need to get together en masse. Like, you know what I was thinking about for real? If I can get so many children that's hurt out here, and that's simply getting children from Dayton Public Schools, because all these children done lost somebody from COVID. Do you know how many of these babies sing to me out here? I have videos of children.
Well, sis, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, wait. Hold on now. Now, look, you lost me. Now, and I'm not disrespecting what you say. What you're saying could be true, and I'm not saying that it wouldn't work, okay? But when we're talking about a solution to combat children being sexually molested and children being abducted and human trafficking and all of these issues, it's saying come together and sing.
Yeah.
All right, hold on, wait a minute. Hold on.
I have a reason why I say that.
Right.
Keep going.
What I'm trying to tell you is, though, like, that can be a step, okay, in what we need to do. But the overall solution,
right,
before we can come together and sing, what else could we do? And, like, give us something tangible. Because you gotta, like, you hit me with a lot of tangible stuff, you know? But then you went with the sing, and that was like, damn, sis, come on now.
Because you have to understand the reason why. I say everything for reason, and the reason why is because we've tried everything else. The church, you see, we can't even congregate at the church on simple issues like what's going on in our neighborhood. The churches have literally, and listen, you can fight me if you want to, but a lot of these churches have turned their backs on these neighborhoods and people, okay? So we got to X the church out, which is the main factor, because back in the day, we used to go to church houses for every single thing, every issue, anything that we needed handled. We used to be able to go to the church for. We no longer have that option.
Do you think that a man honoring his woman and marrying a woman and raising their children strong as a family is a step in the right direction? Being more serious, stop having abortions, stop thinking of abortion as
we did back in 1970, it actually worked. But right here, right now in 2022, with everything that is against our culture, from the music to the food.
What about the things that are for our culture? What about our strengths? What about the things that we got?
Yes.
Don't tell me what I don't got. I want to know what I got to work with. So what do we got to work with?
Work with is each other, but you got to pull that strength. You got to come together for a reason.
We got a reason. We being genocide. Our children are being taken away and stolen and stolen. And all of this, like, shit, if we don't got no reason to come together, shit,
Family is the
Why do
reason.
you think? Now, see, baby,
Family.
I need you to listen
Community.
to me. Why do you think I say sing? Okay, and we can get together. We need to get these children together. Why? Because these are
Yes,
all of
let's
our
talk about
children. So all of
That's
us
a
are
different
going to be
conversation.
together as one.
That's what she trying to
Okay? Why are we going to be together as one? Because we're here, because our children are here to perform Why for us. Okay? So while the children are there, we're seeing some of these parents, we're congregating, we're asking questions, we're coming together for one common thing. Why? And this is because of our children. So our children get up there and sing their pain away.
Yes,
That's going to
God.
bring about emotions, but positive emotions. Emotions that make us want to change. We're going to start asking questions. What is it that we can do to strengthen? We need each other. We got
that's
children
hard.
out here that lost both of their parents. We don't have a future if we don't get to these children, and we can't get to these children if we don't get it together within each other. Do you see what I'm saying?
You know what? I just picked up what she put down.
We
Right?
can't sit up here and march anymore. We got Black Lives Matter and the LGBTQ and George Soros community on our asses. They are not trying to strengthen our families. So we have to do this ourselves. So you
Amen.
gotta
We
think
definitely
harder
gotta do
and
it
not
for
harder.
ourselves.
Because the
Yes,
church
we need
is an extension
nuclear
of the
black
government
family, the
and
black
their
man, the black
programming.
woman, the black child. We need all of that.
Speak on it.
But being logical and reasonable, looking at our culture today, look at your backyard. You see, in today's society, you see a lot more mixed children than you damn near see black children. We have a problem, guys.
I don't know
We have
about
a
that.
problem,
No, you
black
don't see
women.
mixed children. You see
We
more
have
mixed
a
children
problem.
Reach.
in the media.
Yeah.
That's the reach.
But nah, energy, thank you for real.
Thank you
Let me
so
tell you
much,
something
Queen.
About when you call,
Thank
sis, you know what I mean? You always bring some profound wisdom and
Yes.
insight
Yeah, you bring the energy.
with energy.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. So we appreciate you, man. Please make sure that you always tap in.
And you know what? Do you know how much I wish I could do the groundwork, put my left foot in front of my right to do something for my city? Because I see, I'm talking about from ley lines on James H. McGee that we don't know about, that these people have implemented and put right here, that we don't know. We don't know that Arlington Court is a huge cemetery. We don't know that how far this cemetery on the corner of Gettysburg and Free Pike Ave. We don't know if real spirits out here that's shaking things up. And as long as we are docile to this kind of stuff, to these kind of attacks, we will always be in a situation to where we will always be singing songs like this.
All right. With energy, thank you. Hey, energy. Thank you for your call.
Thank
Queen.
you
We
so
really,
much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much,
Make sure you
man.
stay tapping in with us. Man.
I want to bring her on, man. Like, yeah. I want to speak to my sister's credit also, man.
Okay. All right, Queen. Peace.
I'm gonna speak to her credibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, she literally was talking about like the last time I seen her on Facebook, she was going live, and she literally was getting into it with somebody who was being a detractor against her. And she literally was talking about her homeschooling. She homeschools her own children, man. She is so dope, man. Like, I really do rock with her. So thank you, sis, for always calling in, always being there. And she called in from YouTube, man. She is blocked on Facebook, man. It's all love. Thank you so much, Queen.
This is gonna be our last call of the night. So let's.
Yeah. I also want to talk about the Judge Mathis before we.
Let's get it. We out of here.
All right.
Real neighborhood news. You got 1 minute, and then we out of here. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Buzz Beater.
All right, bro. This is Rhoda. I was just wanting to pipe in on what she was talking about. I understood what she was saying. It's just got to be a simple reason for us all to come together and do something. Then we're in each other's faces.
Yeah.
Each other's faces. Right now, I can walk through a door and hold a door open for a woman or an old man or a young woman or a young man or whatever. They ain't even going to acknowledge
They got me on there hitting the button.
I'm the kind of person where I make eye contact, I'm speaking.
Beat up.
We don't do that no more. So it was just basically, I think all she was trying to say was a simple reason for us all to come together and be in each other's faces. Then we got to talk about some stuff. The same stuff you're talking about right now, Mr. Mayor.
man, I understand that, and I think that might have been a better breakdown. But once we come together and we sing, like, you know what I'm saying, there is.
Oh, yeah.
It definitely got to be a plan of action in order to how we can combat. Oh, okay, bro, man, I love you. I'll call you in a little bit.
I think what she was saying more or less. I think what she was saying more or less was the